They melt in your mouth, not in your hands. But what they don't tell you is that M&Ms were born in war, fueled by betrayal, and built on a candy empire's darkest secrets. This is the story you were never meant to hear, about how America's most iconic candy almost never existed. We go back to 1937 in the middle of the Spanish Civil War. American businessman Forrest Mars Sr., the estranged son of Frank Mars, was living in Europe to escape his father's shadow and expand the Mars candy business globally. There he noticed something strange. Soldiers were eating chocolate. That wasn't melting under the scorching heat. These were British-made Smarties. Chocolate centers coated in a thin sugar shell. Mars knew immediately this was genius. If he could bring this concept to America, especially with World War II on the horizon, he could create a candy that wouldn't melt in soldiers' pockets. But to pull it off in the US, he needed chocolate. And Hershey controlled the chocolate industry. Mars approached Bruce Murray, son of Hershey's president William Murray, and struck a deal. He'd make the candy. Murray would provide the chocolate and connections. The partnership was secret. The company was called M&M Limited, for Mars and Murray. They launched in 1941, just months before the US entered World War II. M&Ms were sold only to the military at first. Soldiers loved them. They were durable, easy to carry, and didn't melt. By the end of the war, soldiers were addicted, and when they came home, the demand exploded. But the good times didn't last long. By 1948, Forrest Mars wanted total control. He bought out Bruce Murray's entire 20% stake for just $1 million. A laughable amount today. And just like that, Hershey was cut out of the deal. Murray's descendants never got another cent from what became a billion-dollar empire. Mars then became ruthless, expanding aggressively, buying factories, crushing rivals, and standardizing the M&M's brand worldwide. Forrest Mars Sr. was known to be ruthless, obsessive, and secretive. He once said, "I'm going to make the best candy in the world, and I don't give a damn what it costs." He implemented military-like discipline in factories. Employees had to follow strict rules. He once slapped an executive for disagreeing with him in front of others. Even today, Mars Inc. remains a privately owned company. They don't release sales numbers, revenue details, or employee data publicly. It's one of the largest family-owned companies in the world. In 1954, Mars introduced peanut M&Ms, an immediate hit. That same year, they coined the famous slogan, "Melts in your mouth, not in your hands." But behind the success, there were strange choices. Red M&Ms were removed in 1976 because of public panic over red dye number, a dye linked to cancer. Ironically, M&Ms didn't even use that dye, but removed the color anyway. In 1995, they added blue M&Ms after a public vote. It beat out pink and purple. M&Ms became more than candy. They became characters. You probably know them. Red, the confident, sarcastic leader. Yellow, the dopey, lovable peanut. Green, the seductive female. Blue, orange, and brown joined later, each with personality traits. This wasn't random. It was brand psychology. Kids loved the colors. Adults remembered the characters. It made M&Ms a pop culture icon. In 1982, Steven Spielberg was filming E.T. He offered Mars the chance to feature M&Ms in the movie. A golden opportunity. But Mars said no. They didn't want their brand associated with a weird alien. So Spielberg went to Hershey, who offered Reese's Pieces. The result? Reese's Pieces sales tripled after the movie. Mars had missed the biggest product placement in candy history, but they recovered. With animated ads, Super Bowl spots, celebrity cameos. They even went to space with NASA. Today, M&Ms generate over $1.5 billion annually, sold in over 100 countries, and owned by the Mars family, one of the richest in America. They've created dozens of spin-offs: mint, caramel, crispy, pretzel, fudge brownie, even M&M stores in New York, London, Las Vegas. But here's what most people forget. It started in war, built with a stolen idea, fueled by a secret alliance, and ended with betrayal over just $1 million. M&M's branding isn't the same everywhere. In India, eggless versions are sold to suit dietary restrictions. In China, red M&Ms are extra popular due to color symbolism, luck and prosperity. In France, M&Ms are marketed more as luxury snacks, even with boutique stores. In Japan, seasonal and limited edition flavors like matcha and sake are a hit. This hyper-localized marketing is part of why M&Ms dominate globally, despite competing with brands like Cadbury, Nestlé, and Lindt. They were part of psychological studies on choice behavior. People often think they prefer certain colors of M&Ms, even though they all taste the same. The crunch of the candy coating was designed not just for protection, but because the sound of biting into it makes people feel satisfied. This was confirmed by food psychologists. The louder the crunch, the more intense the flavor is perceived to be. That's why M&Ms feel more fun to eat than soft chocolate bars, even though they contain less chocolate. So the next time you eat one, know you're not just enjoying candy, you're tasting a piece of history. Like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories behind the world's most iconic brands.